Hey everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to fix this stepping issue with easy technique, and also in the end I'm going to give you one bonus tip also. So without further ado, let's start. Let's take a pig head and I will add some animation, and it should be crazy animation, right? So let's use $F. Yep. And I want 130 frames, and let's on this real time. Yep, it's working, and let's give it some nice rotation. In fact, we can use here so it can rotate with distance, right? And let's add one more rotation in this axis. Right. Let's add camera, and we will have to animate it. This angle is fine. Let's lock it. Add key over here and to end frame. And let's check in between frames so we don't lose this big head. So we are losing here, and yes, rest frame is fine. And also let's cache this, right? So it will create this folders structure and we're good to go. And I like dark background, so let's use dark. Let's remove grids, unlock this camera. Let's use flipbook and check. So it's a simple concept that we will add particles trail behind it, and for that we will need pop network. So let's use pop network, scatter some points. Yeah, 100 is fine. Let's connect this, and I want all particles. Let's check this now. We are getting some stepping issue, but before solving that I want inherit velocity. Let's use this trail and compute well. Cool. It should inherit by 0.1. So we are getting all the stepping issue. There are lots of ways to fix it, and the first one is substeps. So let's use 10 substeps and stay on this 60 frame and click on this reset simulation. It's best way to see the difference, and we don't see any difference that we can see there are some particle increased. So why substeps is not working? The first reason is it doesn't have in between frames. And what I mean by in between frames, so here if I click this, there is an integer frame, so let's use 0.1. so if I move, you can see there is no animation in this. And how do we get it? So it's really simple, just use time blend. So it will calculate this in between animation based on this point number, point positions and everything. So now you can see it's moving. And now again let's go to 60th frame, and now we have time blend. Substep should work. Let's go, stay on this frame as I said, and let's click reset sim. Yes, now it's working. So let's use this reduced life, and here I want, let's add a pop force, 60 and 10 is fine, and I need drag as well, so it should slow down these particles. Cool. And also I want you to check this performance monitor to calculate the time it's consuming, right? Now let's simulate this. Cool. So now I think noise is too much and we will control it. But here if I see it's taking 17 seconds, and now we can say like it's really less, but when you're dealing with really large scale simulation, then it will like increase a lot's time. So here I'm going to show you one easiest technique to avoid these substeps. And do remember that it was taking something around 18 seconds, right? So note it down, and let's see how much time it's take with this technique. So to use that technique, let's just remove this color also. And yep. So to use this technique, we will use trail. Now you can see it's giving us two geometry, right? So here we need to understand that why it's giving us tapping issue, because this two geometry has a gap in this. When you are like, you can see when it's moving really quick, then you can see it's a gap between that. What we can do, we can just fill that gap. So the question arises how we can do that. For that we will use this add, and just go to this second tab and click. Like now you can see it's some giving some weird result. So we have this option called by attribute. So it should have this same attributes on both points. So let's create that. We will use connectivity to create this class, and that class we can read over here. So now you can see it's filled, you know and we can scatter particles on it, and make sure you use this density by density. And here I want less particle in the beginning. Now you can see there is no substeps, and let's just run this. Now you can see we are getting some weird result. The reason is because we have not used this integer frame values. Let's on this. Right. Now as you can see it's really quick, and you know what, we will just check this performance monitor. Let's just simulate it. Now you can see it's taking almost 1.4 seconds, and there is a huge difference from 18 to 1.4 seconds. And yeah, now we can just control it quickly. Cool. So here I want to control this pop force. So what I want to do is, so it should add less noise when it dies. So how we can do that? So we can use this wax expression. So I want to control this attribute, so it's amp. So let's use amp multiply. So we can use normalize edge attribute to control that. Okay, so it will add more noise over this area. It will decay the effect by the end of this when particle dies. Stay on this frame, control and click this. Now you can see it's not adding much particles. Yes, that's what we want. And that NH is not visible if you see over here. So NH, you won't find NH over here. So what it do, it will just divide these two attributes, life and age, and that it's something Houdini calculate in backend, right? So yeah. So yeah, that's all. So we can just increase this particle amount by 4 times, and you can see this, we are getting very decent result, and there is no stepping issue. Right. And let's render this, add some nice color. And here also we will use that nh function. I want vector. Let's clean this up also. Cool. And here I need a bright color, so let's use this. Yeah, that's fine. You can see some lines over here. To reduce that, let's increase points count over here by 300. Yep. Now it's not visible much. And also we can add some jitter over it so it can mix well. Yep. Point one is fine. And cool. So let's just quickly render this and check. Let's see what we are getting. So it will create auto. And also it's creating that headlight. I want constant shader. Click and drag. And yeah. And let's add some like a random p scale also. Render this node. To add random p scale over it. Let's use RAM. Divide by 5. 8. Yes, this looks great now, and you can see. Let's quickly render this. V1. Let's use this 6. We don't need any motion blur on this, and make sure physically based render is on. Yeah, let's render it and review it. Yes, this looks nice, and yeah, it's with one substeps only. And next we can add glow and everything to make it look nice. And yeah, as I have promised, I will show you one bonus tip now, which is very useful. Let's take this frame. So here what I'm going to do is I want to taper it. How we can do that? There are many ways to do it, but I'm going to show you one simple way to achieve that. Take this geometry here and I'll use trail. It's 130 frames, so let's use 130. And so what I'm going to do, so I'll just create a curve on this path, and I will ray these particles on that path, and I will blend these two position based on NH, right? And yeah, so let's use this add. It should be 1 point, right? So let's use pack. It will give us 1 point. Delete geometry. Yes. And I want to freeze it on end frame. Cool. So to create curve along this path, we will use add and just that. It's ready. Let's ray this now. minimum distance. Now you can see it's working. Cool. So how do we blend these two? So we can use point triangle also using lerp function, but everyone likes warp, so I will show in warp. So let's use warp, taper, and I want to reduce this lifespan also. It's 5. Yeah, this much is fine. Okay, so let's connect to this input 1, and so we will import that position p and second. So let's connect this, and yeah, it's working great. So to blend this we will use mix function. So position 1, position 2, right? So it's working, and here I want to like drive a attribute, so which is nh, and yeah, we can use bind and nh, but let's we can use it, but it's the same thing that we can just divide this two and it will, yeah. So now it's, you can see it's tapered, right? And we can control it with this also. So now you can see it's really looking nice. Let's just check. Yeah, so it's, you can see it's working, but it's creating this problem over here because it's intersecting it, right? How do we get rid of it? The answer is very simple. We can create a rest position over here and then we can blend it. So because if we read afterwards, it will just intersect with everything. And yeah, I'll show you what I mean. So yeah, I don't want to use this. I will just create rest position over here. And in fact, and I don't want this entire trail. I want just 10 frame. Right? So we will use rest position. It will gives a same output, but it will store rest position as well. So when I just delete this and rest, it's a vector. I can see. And you can see still we are getting those effects, and you know what to do. You can just reduce this and yeah, it's gone. So let's just visualize from this angle, and right, and also to enhance this, and to enhance this even more, you can see this these are sharp, you know, so we can just, we can use convert. Oops, sorry, here. Yep. And do we need here also? Let's check. I think not, we don't need it, but still if you do it then it's good. Cool. Yes, everyone looks perfect, and I'm gonna just reduce tailor more by 35% by 0.35, and let's check this once. Yeah, cool. So let's render this now, and it's version 2, and we will review it. And yeah, this is looks nice, and yes, we are getting this tapered look. And yeah, you can create many interesting effect with this technique, and hope you like it, and see you next time.